Here we are studying about structure of DNA. Okay, DNA is a genetic material. Genetic material are both, it includes both DNA and RNA. RNA is present only in viruses. It acts as genetic material in case of viruses only. In all other organisms, DNA is a genetic material. In all other organisms, DNA is a genetic material. It doesn't mean that RNA is absent in all other organisms. Does not act as genetic material in other organisms. It has various other functions, like it acts as a messenger. It carries information from nucleus to cytoplasm, cytoplasm to nucleus. It acts as a catalyst. Catalyst means it acts as an enzyme. Ribosomes are the cell organelles. In this cell organelle, there is an enzyme called ribozyme that helps in protein synthesis. Okay, so it acts as a catalyst. It acts as an adapter molecule. Adapter molecule means which binds. It binds amino acids with RNA, with DNA. Why? With ribosomes, we can say that with ribosomes, DNA amino acids bind with ribosomes with the help of RNA molecules. This binding is very important for synthesis of proteins. Amino acids are making proteins. Okay, like cells are making a complete organism. We know that cell is the smallest unit in the complete organism. Same like that, proteins have small units called amino acids. Amino acids will form a long chain to form the proteins. For this purpose only, amino acids should bind with ribosomes. That is done by this RNA molecule. Okay, so these are the different functions. But DNA exclusively, it is genetic material only. RNA, it is a genetic material only in case of viruses. Right? Next, let us observe the structure of DNA. Structure of DNA. Structure of DNA. DNA is composed of smaller units called nucleotides. Okay, nucleotides bind together to form a complete chain of DNA. Each nucleotide is made up of one sugar molecule. A carbohydrate that has sweet taste is named as a sugar molecule. Sugar molecule and one nitrogen base and a phosphate molecule together form a nucleotide. Okay. The sugar molecule that is present in DNA is deoxyribose, whereas the sugar molecule that is present in RNA is ribose. What is the difference between ribose and deoxyribose? One single oxygen molecule. Okay. So what is the structure of ribose? Ribose is a cyclic compound. It is present in the DNA as a cyclic compound. This is the structure of ribose. So this is the structure of ribose molecule. And what is deoxyribose molecule? If this oxygen is removed, it is called as deoxyribose. So this is the oxygen that is making difference between deoxyribose and ribose, right? In this carbohydrate molecule, there are 5 carbons. First one, second one, third one, fourth one, fifth one. So it is a 5 carbon sugar. Okay, it is a 5 carbon sugar. And these carbons are named as 1 prime, 2 prime carbon, 3 prime carbon, 4 prime carbon, 5 prime carbon. This small what do you say, small mark above the number is prime. It is read as prime. Okay, 1 prime carbon, 2 prime carbon, 3 prime carbon, 4 prime carbon, and 5 prime carbon. For this sugar molecule, nitrogen base and phosphate will attach. First association is made between sugar molecule and nitrogen base, and then phosphate comes to attack. Right. Can you see how it is getting attached? For this sugar molecule, nitrogen base is attached to the first position. In this position, a bond is formed. That bond is called as glycosidic bond. This is glycosidic bond. This bond you will you will learn in chemistry. Maybe this year you learn in chemistry about different types of bonds. Did you learn before about bonds? Bond formation between molecules. This year you'll have different types of bonds: covalent bond, ionic bond, hydrogen bonds, van der Waals bonds. All these bonds you learn. Any chemical substance should bind together. Between one bond will be formed. If two chemical substances should bind together, one bond will be formed. Okay, between this pentose sugar, that is ribose, and nitrogen base, one bond is formed. The name of this bond is glycosidic bond. The name of this bond is glycosidic bond. And at the fifth position, to this carbon atom, a phosphate molecule will be attached. Okay, a phosphate molecule. OH will go, OP will be formed, and the structure of P is something like this minus, right? This is the structure of phosphate molecule. This phosphate molecule is attached to the fifth prime position, and the bond that is formed, the name of this bond is phosphodiester bond. Phosphodiester bond. Okay, why it is called as diester? This side one bond is formed, and this side one bond is formed, and this bond is attached to another ribose sugar. Another ribose sugar will bind from this side. Okay, so I am drawing another ribose here. This is a ribose. This is 1 prime carbon, 2 prime carbon, 3 prime carbon, 4 prime carbon, 5 prime carbon. So this carbon will attach to this phosphate molecule. Okay, it is forming a bond like this. Two sides bond is formed. So that is why it is called as phosphodiester bond. Phosphodiester bond is formed. This is attaching two sides. So that is why it is called as a phosphodiester bond. Right? So this is the structure of a nucleotide. This is the structure of a nucleotide. In this nucleotide, there are different types of nitrogen bases. Nitrogen bases are of two different types. What are they? Purines. And second type, pyrimidines. Pyrimidines. What is the difference between purines and pyrimidines? Purines have a little complex structure. Like this, the structure of purines will be there. Pyrimidines have very simple structure like this. Okay. Among purines, there are adenine, guanine. Among pyrimidines, there are cytosine, thymine, and this is present in case of thymine in RNA molecule is replaced by uracil in RNA molecule. Okay, thymine is present in DNA molecule, uracil is replacing thymine in RNA molecule. Okay, we'll understand how it is replacing when we study replication. Presently, you understand that this is present in DNA. In RNA, uracil is present. Okay, all these are present. Adenine, guanine, and cytosine is present in RNA also. Only in case of these two only that or exchange is present, right? And Nitrogen. So this nucleotides bind together. This nucleotides bind together to form one complete chain. Okay, this is one nucleotide molecule. When any one of this nitrogen base will be present, it forms a complete nucleotide molecule. Like this, nucleotide molecules join together to form a long chain-like structure. If you draw the single chain of a DNA molecule, this is a ribose sugar. This is 3 prime. This is 3 prime position. This is 5 prime position. Okay, this side the 3 prime position is open, and for this carbon molecule phosphate is attached. After that the second sugar extends like this. Okay, so here at the 5th position again carbon molecule will attach to phosphate. Okay, and this is the first. Here nitrogen base will be attached. Nitrogen base will be attached. To the first position nitrogen base is attached. Okay. Again the next molecule continues from here. Here carbon, phosphate, another sugar. Okay. Here nitrogen base. So this chain continues like this. Okay, this chain keeps continuing like this. Right? On and DNA molecule is not made up of single chain. Two chains run. Before we understand that, we'll understand what is 3 prime position and 5 prime position. Here this hydroxyl ion is open. Here this hydroxyl ion is open. This side where 3 prime hydroxyl ion is left open is called as 3 prime end. And this side where 5 prime hydroxyl ion is open is called as 5 prime end. Okay, for every chain there is a 3 prime end and a 5 prime end. And two chains in a DNA run in such a way that one chain runs from 3 prime to 5 prime, another chain runs from 5 prime to 3 prime. We'll draw this again. If one chain is running like this is the sugar molecule, this is the sugar molecule, draw a little down. This is the sugar molecule. So between this sugar and this sugar, I draw very height. Here the phosphate molecule is attached. Here the phosphate molecule is attached. Here the nitrogen base is present. Here the nitrogen base is present. Here the nitrogen base is present. This end 3 prime end. This end here OH is present 5 prime end. For another chain, it goes reverse like this. Read down. Okay. So between this molecule and this molecule, a bond is formed. This is a 5 prime carbon atom. This is the 3 prime carbon atom. I'll draw again. This is 1 prime, 2 prime, 3 prime, 4 prime, and 5 prime is here. So the next sugar molecule is present like this. This is oxygen, this is oxygen. Next sugar molecule is present here. Okay. So bond is formed between, phosphate bond is formed between this one and this one. Here phosphate bond is formed between this one and this one, like this. Here the nitrogen base is present. 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 And when this chain is running, we can see that here there is an open 5 prime end, open 5 prime end, because here hydroxyl ion is there. This is 5 prime end, and here the 3 prime end is not attached to anything. So this is 3 prime end. So this chain, if you see, it is running from 3 prime end to 5 prime end. This chain is running from 5 prime end to 3 prime end. And the nitrogen bases can be anyone. If adenine is present here, definitely here thymine only should be present. If cytosine is present here, definitely here guanine only should be present. Okay, always there is a bond between purines and pyrimidines. If thymine is present here, definitely adenine only will be present. And between adenine and thymine, double bond will form. Between cytosine and guanine, triple bond will form. These are hydrogen bonds. They are hydrogen bonds. Hydrogen bonds are formed between adenine and thymine, cytosine and guanine, thymine and adenine. So always adenine and thymine are complementary base pairs, and guanine and cytosine are complementary base pairs. Okay, between adenine and thymine, double bond is present. Between guanine and cytosine, triple bond is there. This forms the double chain. After the double chain is formed, this two chains are running anti-parallel to each other. First chain and second chain are running anti-parallel to each other, and these two take coils. Okay, they form coil structures. This structure is called as double helical structure. This is called as double helical structure, and it is proposed by two scientists, Watson and Crick. James Watson and Francis Crick proposed this structure of DNA, which is called as double helical structure. In this helical structure, one complete turn of DNA is 3.4 nanometer, and the gap between one base pair, okay, one base pair means between one nucleotide and another nucleotide, there is a gap of 0.34 nanometer. Okay, when you observe this double helical structure, it looks like a staircase because nitrogen bases are arranged towards the center. Okay, and sugar and phosphate molecules are arranged over this chain. So the chain is made up of sugar, phosphate, this chain is made up of sugar, phosphate, 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 sugar, phosphate. Here, this chain is made up of sugar, phosphate, 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 sugar, phosphate. And between this, nitrogen base is towards center. Here, nitrogen base is towards center. Between these two chains, nitrogen base is towards center. Nitrogen base is towards center. nitrogen base, nitrogen base, nitrogen base, nitrogen base. So when you look this chain, it looks like a staircase. It looks like a staircase. Okay. This staircase is a coiled structure. One complete turn takes the 3.4 nanometer. The gap between this base pair and this base pair, this gap is 0.34 nanometers. Okay. And in this DNA, this side the groove is inside and this is called as major groove. And this side the groove is very small, it is called as minor groove. After this coiling structure is produced, again next step, this is the double helical structure. This double helical structure produces the chromatin material. When we drew the DNA, when we drew the nucleus, there was a nucleolus and this material was wound like this. So this chromatin, if you observe closely, there are small bead-like structures on this. We can see that this like a beads of the string they are arranged. So each bead is made up of histone proteins and DNA molecules. Histone proteins are of 5 types: H1, H2A, H2B, H3 and H4. These four are present 2 times, which forms a histone octamer. Histone octamer is the center of this bead. Histone octamer will be center of bead. The four histones are arranged side by side. H2A, H2B, H3, H4. Behind this another four similar set is present. This is forming an octamer around this. So instead of drawing it like this, I'll draw it like a ball-like structure. This is the histone octamer. Around this, the DNA coils one complete turn and second turn 3 by 4th. Okay, one complete turn it will take, second turn 3 by 4th. Second turn will be 3 by 4th. Between this point and this point, there will be a histone one. If you see from sideways, it looks very thin, but if you see from front, histone is a large round molecule like this. From this angle, it is like this. From sideways, it is thin like this. It binds to this first position of DNA and last position of DNA. It forms a binding like this. This is one bead. This is one bead. Like this, there will be another bead. Histone core will be there. DNA is coiled around it. One histone 1 protein is there. Between this and this, there is a small extension of DNA that is called as linker DNA. Linker DNA is present between them. So that is why it is looking like bead, linker. This is bead, this is linker. This is bead, linker, bead, linker, bead, linker, bead, linker, like that. Okay. When this coiling takes place, when this coiling of chromatin takes place, in some regions, the chromatin coil will be very densely coiled. The chromatin in some regions, it is densely coiled like this. In some regions, it is lightly coiled like this. This region of chromatin is called as heterochromatin. Heterochromatin. This region of DNA is called as euchromatin. U means true. True, it is called as true chromatin because this part is actively functional. Functionally, it is active. This part is functionally inactive. Functionally inactive. Hetero means different chromatin. Euchromatin means true chromatin. Hetero means different. Hetero means different. Different chromatin. Okay? And when stain is added to this nucleus, when we observe nucleus cells under microscope, we add stains like saffron, crystal violet, methylene blue, different colors we add. When color is taken up by the cells, then only we can observe that cell under microscope. So when color is added, this part will appear light if you add methylene blue, for example. This appears light blue in color, this appears dark blue in color. If suppose you are adding saffron is pinkish in color. To look, it looks red color, but when you observe under microscope, you will see pinkish color. This part will be light pink attractively. This part will be very dark pink. Okay. If suppose you are adding crystal violet, then violet stain will be taken. This part will look light violet. This part will look dark violet. Okay. So this part is light in color, takes less strain. This part is dark color, take more strain. But during the cell division, the chromatin will not be like this. It will turn itself into chromosomes. Okay, inside the cell, it transforms itself into chromosome structures like this. And we have already studied that chromosomes are coiled structures. This chromosome, these are arms of chromosome, and one side, if you take this one, these are called chromatids. And chromatids of single chromosome are called as sister chromatids. Chromatids of separate chromosomes are called as non-sister chromatids. Okay, non-sister chromatids of separate chromosomes. And the center, the constriction that is present in the center is called as centromere. And this side there are disc-like structures to protect this one, and they are called, that disc is called as kinetochore. This is a protein. Kinetochore is a protein that protects the centromere. It holds firmly at that location. Okay. Next, sometimes these chromosomes have an extra part here after forming a secondary constriction. This is secondary constriction. After forming secondary constriction, this part is called as satellite. Satellite is helpful in formation of nucleolus. This part of nucleus is formed from this satellite. Not all chromosomes, very few chromosomes will have this one. And if it is having, satellite forms nucleolus. Satellite forms nucleolus, right? Now, how this DNA is coiling into this structure, that we'll understand. The coiled bead-like structures will arrange themselves into flower-like structures. This is one bead, this is one bead, this is one bead, this is one bead. How many beads are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In between, linker DNA also will be there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is linker, this is DNA. This is linker DNA, this is the histone bead-like structure. Histone octamer. Histone octamer, linker DNA. Histone octamer, linker DNA. Histone core, linker DNA. Histone core, linker DNA. Like that. This flower is formed. Above this, one more ring, like a spring is arranged. Like a spring, wire is made into spring. This also coils one above the other very tightly without any gap in between and forms a chromosome-like structure. This structure is called as solenoid structure. Solenoid structure. Solenoid structure. So the coiling takes place like this. Very tightly without any gap. Very tight coil will take place inside this chromosome, and in that way the genetic material is packed very tightly inside the chromosome. So this is what we have discussed till now about the structure of DNA.